Good morning, this is Chelsea from Teaching in Pearls and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to walk you through my first day of music class activities. So in case you're new to my channel, I'll give you a little background about me. This will be my 5th year teaching, but only my 3rd year teaching elementary. My first 2 years I taught middle school choir and high school show choir, but I'm going into my 3rd year at the same building teaching kindergarten through 6th grade music. So I have between 600 and 700 students. We have a lot of transiency, so that number fluctuates throughout the year. But I've already taught 50 to 75% of them before because I teach all the grades, so I get to see the same kids every year, which makes my first day of school a little bit easier. Also, I only see my kids once a week for 45 minutes, so my first day of school is the whole first week of school because every single day I'm seeing a new group of kids that day. Our schedule goes 6, 5, 4, 3, lunch, 2, 1K, and then my plan bell at the end of the day. So it's a crazy packed day. I get 0 transition time in between grade levels. So for example, once 6th grade is lined up and ready to leave, the 5th grade class is already waiting in the hallway and we just go on and on and on and on all day. It's sort of like running a marathon, but it makes the day go by really quickly, and honestly I really enjoy the fast-pacedness. So my first day of music class, which ends up being my whole first week, goes a little like this. For everyone, they are going to have assigned seats the first day of music class. So it looks a little bit different per grade level. My 6, 5, 4, 3 kids will actually get choice of where they want to sit. If you've never seen my videos before, I use poly spots, which look like sit spots, but they're plastic and they don't like Velcro to the floor or anything, which took a little bit of time for the kids to get used to and not throw and not mess with, but now that I've been there for 3 years, they understand the procedures, which makes it really easy on the first day of school because they just remind the new kids, hey, we don't do that, hey, we don't do that. So anyways, for my 6, 5, 4, and 3 kids, when they enter the room, I'll have them line up against my shelves that have all my instruments on them, and then I will tell them each a color, and they get to pick which seat they want to sit on, but they sort of, I mean, they're getting choice, but I'm giving them choice within a boundary. And for 2, 1K, I will just completely tell them where to sit. I'll say, okay, you here, you here, you're here, you're here, you're here. For kindergarten, it's a whole nother ball game. We follow the leader into the room and I have to sit them down one by one, and then we have to discuss how we are actually going to sit, which is crisscross applesauce, hands in our lap. And then I teach them to say, I say crisscross applesauce, hands in your lap, and they say we can do anything just like that, and by that they are sitting crisscross applesauce, hands in their lap. But my grades 1 through 6 kids already know how to sit, so the returning students, which is most of them, will take it upon themselves to look at the new kids and be like, oh, we say crisscross applesauce, hands in our lap. For the bigger kids, like my actual physical bigger kids in the upper grades, if they don't say crisscross applesauce, I don't say anything typically, unless they're like not sitting anywhere near their assigned seat. But some of my kids will sit with their legs out and stuff, and that's really not my main concern. It's okay. So after everyone is in their assigned seat, then it's time to take attendance, and most importantly, I need to learn how to pronounce all 600 to 700 children's names correctly. Luckily, I already know most of them, so that makes it so easy, but my first year of teaching, that was such a challenge because that's a lot of names to memorize. But since it's not my first year, it is a little bit easier, so I just need to learn all the new students' names and how to pronounce them. I keep all of my lesson plans and all of my grade books and all of that stuff in my digital planner on my iPad, so I will write down little notes to myself that make sense to me about how to pronounce a child's name. I'm the only one who sees the iPad, so I just write down however it's gonna help me to phonetically spell it out. To me, it is utmost important that I know every single child's name as soon as possible and that I am pronouncing it correctly. And also, if I have new kindergartners, I like to know who their older siblings are because that helps me keep them in line throughout the year, because I can always use their older sibling as a, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to talk to so-and-so about blah, blah, blah. Maybe they're gonna have to go tell mommy, which honestly usually does a better job than me threatening a phone call, but really gets to that, but I do like to know who my new siblings are in the building. So when I'm taking attendance with grades 1 through 6, I will go one by one. Even if I know them, I'll still say their name and let them say here. And with grades 1 through 6, they're gonna have an opportunity to tell me something they did this summer that they want to share with me, something that happened since the last time I saw them in May. Kindergarten does not get the opportunity to share that, because if you are not familiar with kindergarten, especially at the beginning of the school year, if you give them a soapbox, the whole class is over at that point. If I let each kindergartner, because we have classes of like 20 to 25 kindergartners usually, if I let them share something about their summer, that conversation would literally never end, and I only have 45 minutes with them, which ends up being more like 30 if you count lining up, getting in the room, and then getting out of the room. So anyways, kindergarten, they don't get to share something in their summer, but I will ask them something really simple like, what's your favorite color, or what's your favorite song? And what's funny about kindergarten is once they hear like 1 or 2 kids' answers, you're just gonna hear a lot of the same answer. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I did that when I was in kindergarten, but that's like the thing, is like if one kid says it, then it's suddenly everybody's favorite song. So after attendance and making sure I know how to pronounce everyone's names and making sure we're sitting in our assigned seats, then with the real little kids, K to 2 probably, we will actually practice lining up and then getting back into our assigned seats. Lining up, getting back to our assigned seats, and I turn it into a game. I'll like count down, okay, you have 10 seconds to line up in ABC order. And for first grade and second, they can do that because they practice that in the classrooms. We always line up in ABC order, K through 6. But with kindergarten, it's gonna take long for us to get in ABC order and then get back to our seats. So kindergarten, this process takes like probably 10 to 15 minutes. It takes a long time, but it helps me solidify that the next time they come into my classroom, we can actually get more into music, because they'll know how to sit, they'll know where to sit. I learned by error. It is really necessary to practice procedures with the babies. But the big kids, they don't really need to practice lining up and getting in their seats. They'll remember, because they'll remember who they're sitting next to. I will usually tell them, okay, look at the person next to you on your right, ask them what their name is so you know who to sit next to. Look at the person on your left, okay, what's their name? Okay, and then I'll call on a couple random kids, who are you sitting next to? And they'll say, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so, who are you? And I like will quiz them, and if they get it wrong, I give the class like 15 more seconds. So they practice that way, but it doesn't take that long at all for them. After we're done practicing our seats or lining up or whatever, then everybody except for kindergarten will watch my beginning of the school year classroom procedures and expectations video. This is something I started my second year at the elementary school, because I learned the hard way the first year when I repeated my procedures and rules and expectations 28 times in a row, and by the last day I was like, I'm gonna lose my mind repeating all my expectations and rules in the classroom management and the reward system I have and all that stuff. I repeated myself 28 times in a row, and it was too much. So last year I got a little bit smarter. One of my teacher friends suggested this to me, and I actually recorded myself giving the procedures and expectations, and I turned it into a video. It's like 5 to 8 minutes long, depending. There's one for the lower grades and there's one for the upper grades, and they're different. But I go through everything, what's expected, what my general rules are. My rules are pretty easy, just pretty much be a nice person and try to do what we're doing to your best ability. And then what my reward system is, especially for the 4th through 6th graders. They have a very specific reward system that they very much look forward to. So they'll watch that video, and also in that video I show them clips from my summer, because I usually travel during the summer, and they know that I'm going places over the summer because I told them last year, so they love seeing like what I actually did. They like seeing pictures of me and Brandon. They like seeing pictures of the dogs, so I include that in the video as well. I will link that video in my description box so you can see what I'm talking about. This is my one from last year. I'll put together a new one for this year and probably share it as well, but just so you get an idea. So by that point, we're like more than halfway through the class. For kindergarten, we don't do that video because practicing getting in line and getting to our seats takes so long, and I found that last year, because the kindergartners don't know me, they don't really care what I did last summer, and sitting through a video about rules and expectations is too much for them. So for kindergarten, as far as like my rules and expectations and procedures, we sort of learn those as we go. I don't really sit down and tell them blah 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 blah, because they really can't remember all of that at once. They're just excited to be in the room. So for kindergarten, after they're done practicing, and then for first grade, after they're done with their short video, we will stand up and we will do Step on the Beat, which is a recorded movement song that I love using every single year. So my first graders will be excited because they did this song in kindergarten, so they're gonna be like, ah, I remember this, and they just love it. But Step on the Beat requires them to walk in a circle, which is good because they're already sitting in a circle, so it's not hard to get them to stand up and then face. The hardest part is getting all the kindergartners to face the right way, but it's hilarious, honestly. So Step on the Beat is wonderful for the first day with little kids because the song is giving you the directions. So I'm in the circle moving with them, but I'm also able to jump out and fix any issues that may arise without having to interrupt the directions because the directions are on the song. So I tell them we need to listen or we're gonna miss the directions, and then I walk with them. Where it goes, if I can find it, I'll link it below. I think you have to buy it. I got it when I was student teaching and I've just used it, but yeah, so anyways, I will link it below for you, but it's a great starter song. For my big kids, after we watch the procedures video, we play Jump In, Jump Out, Turn Yourself Around, and I will link that below because I know other people have already made versions of that video. So Jump In, Jump Out is great for learning students' names and practicing their names and just getting a general classroom community feel going, getting them moving, getting them chanting. They're not really singing, so there's not a lot of pressure on them to be like good singers right away, good singers. So they're pretty comfortable with the activity. My 6th graders this year will not do Jump In, Jump Out unless they request to, which they might because we've done it in prior years. But knowing the kids that I'm getting this year as 6th graders, I've implemented a different part to our class that includes them getting notebooks every single day that they come to my music class. So we will probably take the rest of the time to pass out those notebooks and label them so that when they come back for their first like real music class where we're actually going to do stuff, they already have their notebooks ready and that step's already done. I love the first week of school because I get to meet all my new babies. I get to see all my babies from the past couple years, and there's just always so many random crazy fun things that happen. It's so unpredictable, but it is so much fun. Thank you so much to my friend Kate, the sleepy teacher, for organizing this. I'm so excited to watch everyone else's videos and see what they plan for the first day of school, and I feel really, really honored to be included as a specialist because there's not a lot of specialists on YouTube yet. So I love to contribute as much as I can. If you have any other ideas that you think would help specialists, put them in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful or if you just found it interesting to see what a specialist does. Subscribe if you want to join the family and stick around. I hope to see you in my next video, and I hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are.